Hey everybody, it's Bob Grzecki from the Alberta Hunter Education Instructors Association. I'm here again on a little video log here to talk to you about this new workbook that we've designed on ticks. The pesky rascal, the tick. They've been around in the fossil record for some 90 million years and they're not our friend. We've designed a workbook that's going to accompany this, and it's got a lot more detail. It's designed to have some higher thinking in it for adults, and it has some activities for the kids. It's meant for you to do together with your children, enjoy it together, learn about ticks together, understand what's going on about when you enter the outdoors. They need to be cognizant of what it's like to be near a tick, and as do you. So, and for as long as ticks have been around, there's been about as many different ideas and concepts to get rid of them. Everybody has their own idea. Grandpas and uncles and grandpa's cousins' uncles all have an idea about how to remove a tick. I've read and heard and seen and listened to the wives' tales about taking a lit cigarette and dabbing it onto the tick, covering it with petroleum jelly, covering it with nail polish, heating a needle and then touching it onto the tick with supposedly the reaction, making it back out, burying it under petroleum jelly, and a myriad of different things. I'm here to tell you, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's talk about how to do it the right way. Before you dive into this, you're going to want to get a few things assembled. You need to get yourself some pointy tweezers that you might want to be able to use that are different than the type of tweezers that you have in your house that you might use for plucking an eyebrow or pulling out a sliver or things like that. Rubbing alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, if you don't have either of those, then you can use soap and water. That also works really well as well. Pointy tweezers are really important. These are not your typical household tweezers. Typical household tweezers have a very flat point on the edge. And these tend to be the type of tools that you could use that ultimately may end up squeezing the tick as opposed to plucking it out. And that's a bad thing. You don't want to do that. And I'll talk about why in a second. So you don't want squared off tweezers. You want sharp or pointed tweezers so that you can get below it. Tweezers like this that are, made for some sort of a surgical removal. Some of them have spring loaded so that you don't have to worry about squeezing. You put it on and the pressure sometimes is just enough to be able to extract the tick. So the important thing is to really be careful about squeezing the tick, because squeezing it will just inject more of this blood clotting and inhibiting saliva, or the allergen, if you will, into you. So once you got all your tools, I've also got a magnifying glass and a couple other things that I'll describe in a second. Once you got all your tools, you need to clean around the area. First, let's give myself a little bit of a tick. So now I have a tick on my skin. So you need to clean around the area. You might want to wear a glove. You might want to take a piece of gauze. You might want to use an isopropyl alcohol wiping pad to wipe it down, clean it off. And then you can get your tweezers right down on your skin so that you can grab as close as you possibly can, get underneath it, get as close as you possibly can, pull up slowly. You don't want to pull on the body of the tick. You want to get close to its head. So that's the part that's biting your skin. Pull up slow and firm. Don't jerk it. Don't twist it. Have a nice, steady, even pressure, and straight up will do. So once you've got it out, you can look for any tick parts that might be left. Use a magnifying glass that you might have, and if you find any mouth parts on your body, you might be able to remove those with the tweezers. If the part of the head breaks off when you pull a tick out, that's okay. You can try to remove it with the tweezers, but if you can't, it's not the end of the world, and your skin's going to heal over. So I want you to clean the bite area again with some alcohol or that isopropyl tab that you can wash with. Go back underneath there and the sink and get some soap and water on there. Then you watch for some signs of tick-borne diseases. Once you've taken it out, keep an eye on the area around the bite. Look for reddening, look for red surfaces. Then take a look at our workbook and you'll read all about the details of the types of things your body will reveal when you're going through a tick reaction. So you've watched for this tick-borne diseases for a number of following days. If any of those tick-borne diseases exist, I want you to seek medical attention as soon as possible. And if you feel uncomfortable doing any of this for whatever reason, maybe the tick is too deep or it's gorged itself too far into your skin, go ahead and see your doctor. Whatever you do, avoid the temptation of, once the tick is out, avoid the temptation of crushing it or squeezing it. Don't do that. This is just another way you can get a disease from it. That's about it. So we've talked a little bit about the type of tools that you need, the tweezers. The tweezers is the real key to this. Some of the things that you can get from your kitchen, from your wife, I should say, it might not be in your kitchen, is a cuticle cutter. That little guy there can go underneath and then it can actually pop straight up. That's a very inexpensive little tool. There are commercially made products that are available on the market. Go to tickawarenesscanada.com and you'll see that they have a bunch of products and some tick type tweezers and so on. If you've got the tick out and you want to take and either preserve it or maybe send a tick for some testing, there are provincial bodies that do the testing. You can collect it and put it into a pill bottle, or we used to all carry these film canisters, but something small, put a piece of grass or something in it to keep it alive. You can put it in the fridge. That might not make you real popular at home, but it'll stay alive in the fridge. If you put it in the freezer and freeze it, it'll die. So I mentioned that ticks come in various sizes. They can be as small as a fleck of pepper. I've used some peppercorns here to give you an example of some of the sizes. The bigger they are, the more gorged they are in blood, and some people have a propensity not to want to pull them out because it looks kind of gross. But they come in various sizes. So if you have a good set of tweezers and a good eye, you can get them. So now you can take and buy one of the commercially made products that's available out there. There's lots of them on the internet that are available, or you can build yourself something. Here's one I've been packing around in my pack for a number of years, and I'll just tear it apart for you so you have a bit of an idea some of the stuff that I carry. So I carry a glove. So you remember you have to, take a look at what's on your dog and your pets. I carry a few isopropyl alcohol wipes, a little bit of cotton batting, a couple bandages. Sometimes I pull ticks off people and they tend to bleed for a little while, so you put a bandage over top of where the tick is bitten. I have a little pen in there so that I can write notes about the incident, where it was, my notes about the tick. Now remember, we all carry a camera, so you could take a picture of the tick rather than trying to sketch it out and try to make an example of what the tick is. There's some tick ID cards. There's all kinds of them available on the internet. There's even a little needle in there that I can use to pick away at something that might be left inside the pore and so on. I'm not recommending that you dig them out. I also stole this from my wife's kitchen probably 20 years ago, and I've probably pulled 50 or 100 ticks out of my dog and my dogs over the years with this little guy. So we just take a little tiny teaspoon that they use for measuring in the kitchen, kind of notch in it, and then when you go onto the skin to get that tick, it'll actually pull it up. So when you go underneath it, you can actually take it and then just pop the tick up. So it's another little tool that I pack in my little kit. I often carry with me a pocket knife, and in my pocket knife there's a set of tweezers. These aren't great tweezers, but in a pinch they'll work. So I don't put a set of tweezers in my little pack because I almost always have one on my person when I'm hiking or hunting. So there you have it. There's a little brief description on ticks, and it is tick season. It's time to be watchful for them. There's lots of good resources out there. tickawarenesscanada.com. I recommend that you go to that group and take a look and see what they produce. You can download our workbook at ahia.com. There's quite a bit more detail in the workbook on avoidance, on the identification of ticks, the fun activities, and so on. That's it for now. Avoid ticks, have fun, be in the outdoors, keep learning, and stay safe.